So y'all know I hate HBCUs and I make fun of them a lot because highest amount of debt coming out of school, lowest form of education possible. But today I'm gonna start a new series called HBCU graduation rates. Today we start with Langston University in Oklahoma. Take a look at this. So between all the hooting and hollering and jive turkeying and stepping fetching, Langston University should be shut down this week, right? I'm gonna write a letter to the Oklahoma Senate. They gotta shut this shit down. And there used to be standards for like joining these sororities and fraternities. Obviously, that's out the window. We need to focus more on education, on food intake, and on healthcare. And I'm not even one to speak. I'm just saying that there used to be a standard up here, and now the standard is under the pits of hell. But Langston University has a 4% graduation rate. All right, let it sink in. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot of EBT members in this crowd, and they're getting them checks from the FAFSA that they want Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to write off, so then we pay for it. So the EBT award of the HBCU of the week, Langston University. Send your kids there if you want them to be in debt. Let's get at them.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a video that is going viral. That will be a great video to send anybody who thinks that it is a good idea for you as a taxpayer to pay off their student loans, okay? Because this is what Democrats are pushing for, okay? They want people who didn't go to college or who were responsible enough to pay off their student loans or currently paying off their student loans to pay off the student loans of individuals who went to schools like Langston University, where the graduation rate is only 5%. And you're going to see very quickly why the graduation rate at Langston University, which happens to be an HBCU, is only 5%, because apparently the obesity rate is higher than the graduation rate at this school. And this is going viral because people are wondering, how in the world is it that we have colleges and universities that are currently operating, although they clearly are failing? And videos like this show exactly why this university is failing. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Okay. It's what? Okay.
Wow. Yeah, this is going to be my go-to video, right? When somebody says, what is your argument against Democrats paying off student loans? I'm just going to send this video, right? With nothing else, no caption, no explanation. Here's the video, right? This is my argument for why we definitely should not have mass student loan forgiveness, because you have stuff like this, activities like this happening at these universities, and these universities are failing. And I'm not one of these guys who believes that you shouldn't have fun in college, but there's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse in higher education. I can tell you, okay, as somebody that went to college, a lot of it is wasteful, right? They're spending money on a lot of things that don't have anything to do with gaining skills, okay? Because that is what higher education should be about, right? It should be about getting job skills, return on investment, especially if the government is going to be funding students going to college with grants and loans, okay? You have to have a positive return on investment. A 5% graduation rate is an absolute failure. So when you have students that are participating in these types of activities, and don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against fraternities and sororities, right? But when you have this type of activity happening okay, as the school is failing, right? When an embarrassingly low graduation rate, that's a problem, right? That's a big problem. That signals that something is wrong. Something is not working correctly when the school is failing, when you have individuals who are not being educated, but yet they're finding time to do stuff like this, right? What are you celebrating? Because statistically speaking, only about 5 to 15% of these students will graduate in 4 years, right? And about 20% of them, they might graduate in 6 to 8 years. Now, to give you guys a comparison, the average graduation rate for public universities across the country is about 33%. Langston University, this university is one of the worst universities in the world, right? Period. Okay. You don't believe me? Just look it up. Okay. Their graduation rate is so abysmal that it is one of the worst performing universities in the entire world. Okay. And this is the problem when people talk about the cost of college and university, not that this university is particularly expensive, but again, what you see here is just a symptom of why college is so expensive, but yet again, we're not really getting that much out of it, or as much as you should be getting out of it, considering how much people pay to go to school. It's because of stuff like this, right? In the ideal world, universities like this shouldn't exist. You shouldn't have a university like this exist, getting federal money, federal dollars, and they're not producing. They're not producing, okay? And these HBCUs, some of them, a lot of them really are in this same boat where they're just not really producing good quality results, but yet they continue to come to the federal government with their hands out talking about, well, they need more money, right? And it's not about the money, okay? It's not the money, okay? Because when you look at the racial breakdown of the graduation rate, guess who got the highest rates of graduation at Langston University? You guessed it, the whites, okay? The whites have the highest graduation rate. I think it's like 38% or something like that. So again, when you look at it from a racial demographic standpoint, when you break it down, it's not the funding, man, right? I mean, it really is the fact that a lot of these students that are being accepted into these colleges and universities shouldn't be going to college and university in the first place, right? They really should be going to community college or some type of trade school. They need to be learning some type of hard skill, okay? They should not be going to college and university. And I think, again, this is a great example of what I'm talking about here. Now, a lot of people are also roasting this video because this video is going viral, okay? And I can't show you the comment section of the TikTok because the TikTok comment section is brutal, right? But let's just say a lot of people had something to say about the size of the individuals in this video. And look, I think that's a valid point, right? I think that, when you have young women and young men as well too, you're in your early 20s, there's no reason for you to be obese, okay? There's no reason to be obese, even in college, right? Your first year or two, the freshman 15, okay? You eating at the dining hall, right? You basically get a buffet for the most part. A lot of students, you tend to get bigger, but you also are walking around campus. Okay, you got the gym. There's no reason for young people, 20, 21, 22 years old, to be obese, okay? Especially when you're talking about women, especially women. Again, this is before a lot of these women get pregnant, right? So before you're pregnant, you're already obese, which means that when they eventually get pregnant, if they get pregnant, a lot of them will. More do you think will get pregnant? It's only downhill from there. It's only downhill. And then these are the same individuals that are boohoo whining and crying about the alleged health disparities, right? Why is it that black women have worse outcomes than other women when it comes to certain diseases and certain issues that women have to go through? Like, for example, childbirth. When you talk about the mortality rate of mothers, right, that are having children, obesity contributes to that, right? So when you have a group of individuals that have high rates of obesity, you're going to have health problems that come along with it. And instead of telling the truth and simply saying, look, this is not okay, right? This is not normal, okay? We should not see individuals who are walking around 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight in their 20s. people want to say, well, that's hateful, right? You're a bigot, okay? You hate black women. It's like, no, I don't hate black women, okay? I'm gonna tell you right now, whether the woman is black or white or whoever, right? Sometimes I just Google pictures of what people look like back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, okay? And when I Google some of these pictures, guys, I gotta tell you, I'm astonished, right? It doesn't matter what color you are. The women and the men too were in way better shape, right? I mean, just generally speaking, the average person walking around was not 50, 60, 70 pounds overweight, okay? That just wasn't a thing. It didn't exist. And now it's something that is very prevalent. And I think personally that it really is a sign, or just another sign of the downfall of society, right? In the sense that, you know, when you talk about making America great again, this is why I support RFK being a part of Trump's campaign and potentially being a part of administration. I'm all for making America healthy again, right? I am 100% for it. I think that is one of the main things we need to do in order to make the country great again. You have to make the American people great again, right? Like that. That's what it comes down to, okay? In terms of physical fitness, also when it comes to academic performance as well too, right? We have to make the American people great again in those categories if we're going to get this country back on track. Because ultimately, the outcome of this country is determined by the people, because the people are what make up the country as a whole. So, yeah, we got to make the American people great again, and I mean that in so many ways.
Let me see some. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So statistically speaking, only about maybe 1 out of every 10 to 15 or so of these individuals will actually graduate this university in 4 years, okay? And that in and of itself is a disaster. I do not think that we should be funding these schools that are failing like this, right? We pour money into things just because it feels good. Oh, it feels great to fund HBCUs. Well, if the HBCUs aren't performing well, then why are we funding them, right? For as much as Trump likes to talk about his funding of HBCUs, I'm not sure if it's the best use of our money. But then again, if you listen to liberals, right, they'll say that, well, Trump didn't do enough, right? And if that's the case, I'm glad Trump didn't do enough, okay? Because we should be spending federal tax dollars on this type of stuff. We shouldn't. And again, this doesn't just go for HBCUs. This goes for any university where the kids aren't properly being educated, where they go to school, they party, they don't get a degree, they drop out. Ultimately, at the end of the day, they got all this student loan debt. And now all of a sudden, Democrats want to put the rest of society on the hook for the bad decisions that were made by these individuals. It doesn't make any sense. So again, when people talk about forgiving student loan debt, when I look at videos like that, I'm like, nah, right? Nah, we definitely should not be forgiving anybody's student loan debt. You got to pay for that, right? Because you made a decision to go to school and to not get a degree, okay? To not go to class, to party, to have fun, okay? And to eventually drop out, and you want society to pay for your bad decisions? No, right? No, okay? And you can boohoo, whine, and cry about it, but I don't care, right? I don't care at the end of the day. Videos like that remind me why, again, we should not be forgiving student loan debt. In fact, a lot of these schools probably should not exist, in my opinion. Videos like this are a reminder of how inefficient our system actually is, okay? It really is extremely inefficient. We waste money on all types of things that we should not be wasting money on, and that's part of the problem. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.